Good morning. I'm with Emily Dean, and I'm with Alan Cochrane, who you may know. That's the cockerel. It's caught on, hasn't it?
It has caught on.
It's caught on with everyone bar Alan, really.
No, I'm fine with it.
No, I think you're starting to think of yourself as the cockerel. I think we've moved to that stage.
Well, occasionally people that I've met that have said, "Oh, you're the cockerel. Are you okay with it?" And so, for the record, I'm fine with it. It's nice. It's just nice to be included, isn't it? It's nice to have
I don't know about those enormous metal spurs you're wearing this morning. Seems to be getting a little too far into character.
And his hair's gone a bit Darren Lyons, I think, embracing the new role.
Good for the show.
All we need is some sort of wrinkled gizzard.
Well,
they were a good band, weren't they? Wrinkled Gizzard before that plane crash. They were excellent. We're on airplane mode. I think we've established that. Apparently, we're live in Edinburgh, and we're at the studios of Fourth One. Its education system's different up here, and apparently it's very sensitive, these microphones to the phones. We've had to put phones. Well, the cockerel's gone for airplane mode. I've gone completely. In fact, I've got a very old phone. I've gone for hovercraft mode, which I think will be all right. If you want to text us, however, it doesn't mean that you can't get in touch because our phones aren't. You know, we've got like a screen thing.
Our phones are off.
Yeah, so you can text us on 8, 12, 15 about anything. I mean, anything you like.
Oh.
Obviously, if it's vile and we won't read it out.
You want to encourage this?
Well, you know,
carte blanche.
Well, no, but we'll do a certain amount of editing, obviously, before we. Yeah.
Frank, we've had an email in actually.
This
was a midweek one. I love a midweeker. This is from Stuart.
And email.
This is from Stuart. He says, "Dear Frank, Emily and Alun," this is an Edinburgh-based email, even better. "As the responsible adult accompanying an under-18, my daughter, to the Saturday show of The Midnight Beast at the Udderbelly in Edinburgh..."
Do people still do that yet? The parents have to... Oh, go on, carry on.
"My night was made when I spotted Frank being ushered in." Oh, I like you being ushered.
Oh, yeah.
Like some sort of criminal, Jack Ruby figure.
I had 2 sheepdogs on either flank. It was excellent. Man with a whistle on stage.
He was heading in my direction, and I was ready to pounce and say hello when a member of the staff redirected him to his seat. I thoroughly enjoyed the show and wondered what Frank thought of it. I love the podcast. I listened to them on my 40-minute drive to work from Doha to Mesaid in Qatar. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly.
What?
Mesaid. Doha or Mesaid.
Oh, well, I mean, people know what you mean. I always think that with pronunciations. Okay. You know what I mean. What's the matter with you people? That's lovely.
Stuart.
So he was just happened to be over in Edinburgh from Qatar.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's... Might I just point out to Stuarts that if you did notice that Frank was with a tall, gangly 30-something looking extremely self-aware and a bit sort of embarrassed at the fact that that was the least sort of easy to get a seat in any venue I have ever experienced, in a room full of teenage girls, and we were sort of moved from one bit to the other, to the other, to the other.
He probably assumed you were my Nordic bodyguard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you have a Nordic bodyguard look to you,
I'm not sure. Only if you felt extremely unthreatened and were just giving the job to a Nordic friend of yours.
Well, I know. I always like to have a Scandinavian in the vicinity.
Right, well, that can be me. Yeah, I can be that guy.
That'd be excellent. And we went to see The Midnight Beast. That's what it is. You may recall they. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say they are a friend of the show. Yeah, they were guests. They were guests in the past midnight. They're a teen sensation. I think it's far.
Yeah,
they were one of these people that put a video on YouTube and got 10 million hits. More than that, actually. So we went. We used to have a goalkeeper at West Bromwich Albion called Brian Jensen, who was nicknamed the Beast. Right. And whenever he did anything, save the ball, or we go Beast, the whole crowd would go Beast. And whenever I've been to Midnight Beast gigs, I've been to about 3 or 4, I try to introduce this. I go Beast when thinking it might catch. You know when you try and start something like that. Never. The teenage girls, they're not interested.
I can sense that their target demographic is not a group of people that will go, beast!
Yeah.
They're a bit busy filming it.
Or they're not going to look around to see if Brian Jensen has entered the room.
Yeah, one or two of the dads at the back going, is Brian Jensen joined Midnight Beast?
But it's so brilliant to go to a gig where your dad has to come because Yes, I should, to be upfront about this, my girlfriend and her sister, they are the managers of Midnight Beast, which is, I don't think I hang around teen. I'm not like one of these men in large coats that go to ladies' athletics meetings. I go there, but it was good, wasn't it? Though it rocked.
Was good. It definitely rocked. It was.
Was there lots of screaming?
Oh God,
there was a lot of screaming.
Was there? I love a bit of screaming.
Some of it from me when I was, I'd got a seat and then I was moved.
Yeah,
I won't tolerate that.
I was screaming at the fact that the people in front of us, the teenagers, were jumping up and down at the start of each song. They were standing up, and so I was standing up, and then I was sitting back down. By the end, I thought I needed a hip replacement.
No, well, we could have done a bit more hip.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but it was a problem because I didn't really want to. Well, when you stand up, when you're there as a middle-aged man, you have to be in observer mode. You have to say, yes, well, I'm watching.
I think you have to be jangling car keys.
Yeah, but so you're a parent.
Yeah, I'm about to leave and I'm waiting for you.
But we had to stand. We either stood, and if you stand, you got to dance. I think if everyone else is jumping about, you just can't stand still. That looks like you've been a deliberate stick in the mud. Yeah. We couldn't stay seated, otherwise we were on absolute eye level with about 20 teenage bottoms, and I can't tolerate that.
Yeah, a bit like a casting for A Midsummer Night's Dream.
School version. Yeah. So we didn't do that, but it was the first time I went to a Midnight Beast gig, because I was the oldest man there by quite a way.
Some margin.
A girl came up to me and said, "Oh, you a fan then of the Beast?" I said, "Well, yeah, I like them." She said, "Oh yeah, I bet you do." And I said, no, I do like them. She said, "Name 5 of their songs." And I thought, well, hold on. I have to qualify. This was a girl who's obviously used to tests on a daily basis. I'm rusty on doing tests like that. I haven't done that for a long time.
I need to cram.
Yeah. Luckily, I was able to rattle off 5.
Wow.
And that wiped a smile off her spotty little face. I'll tell you that.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
That was Fun-Loving Criminals with Scooby Snacks. I know.
Again, to the man that watched Midnight Beast, I have a passing resemblance to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, I'm told, frequently.
Actually, that is true.
Yeah. Particularly the guy on the film, Matthew Lillard, apparently. There you go.
I'm just in shock. I'm listening to Fun-Loving Criminals and I've had some sleep. Because that takes me back to the 90s, frankly.
Yeah, well, we know we didn't have sleep. Let's not go any further. Speaking of Shaggy, in our wasn't that your nick? No. In our Edinburgh flat, I've noticed on the kitchen wall, there's
again. How dare you?
Where is this story
there's
going?
some shaggy parasols. Have you noticed that?
Some shaggy parasols.
Yeah,
are there?
It's a type of mushroom, apparently.
Oh.
So there's lots of illustrations from nature in our flat.
Is there?
And the shaggy parasol is on our kitchen.
I love our flat.
I love a shaggy parasol.
I'm going to miss this old fella.
A shaggy parasol presumably would have like a small ginger goatee beard suspended coming out from the handle, so you could walk like Shaggy with. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We're in Edinburgh. We're at the festival. I think probably the world's greatest festival, isn't it?
It's
of an arts nature.
Certainly the world's largest arts festival. I'm not sure. I mean, greatness. What is greatness?
That's this week's phone-in. What is greatness? We should have more phone-ins like that. The bigger questions.
Yeah,
exactly.
Try and keep it to under 140 characters.
No, it's good just hanging out. I find in Edinburgh is great now. Just sort of wandering about. Mm-hmm. Isn't it, Alan? I'm hoping you're going to tell us this thing. God, what? Did you hold up a cue card?
I thought we were going to talk about Kate Winslet.
Were we?
Yeah,
what you need to do is pay attention, my friend.
Somebody sent an email. I was wandering about, and I overhear things in the street, and I really like little snippets of conversation that you don't get the rest of. And for instance, my wife was in the street the other day and walked past somebody in Edinburgh saying on their mobile phone, "Yes, I'd really like to kill a stag," which sounds like you know the rest of that story, don't you? You know where.
Oh no, that's horrible, isn't it?
But it's quite a weird. It doesn't happen every day, so you sort of go, "Oh, wow, a bit of overhearing." But I heard the other day a group of women as I walked past them, and one of them said, "I left one overnight. I put the solution in and kept turning it."
Oh.
What on earth were they talking about?
I left one overnight. I put the solution in and kept turning it.
And they all nodded.
Sounds like my social life.
They all just nodded, though.
That'll be one of those hog roasts where the hog is tattooed with a cryptic crossword. I think that's what it is. I left it overnight. I put the solution in and kept turning it.
Do you think it was actually a marinade? Do you think that's what it was? I left one overnight. No.
Well, why would you keep turning? You wouldn't turn it overnight.
A giant contact lens?
It reminds me of an old Irish friend of mine went back to the home of he used to go to this club. He was about 50 odd, and he used to say, he said, you can't fail to score if you've got a suit on. That's what he used to say. I think I'm allowed to say. I'm not. Anyway, so he went back to this woman's house, and they started to become intimate. And the woman said, "Hold on, there's one thing I have to do." And she went downstairs, and then she came back, and he said,
God.
"What did you do?" She said, "I just turned my husband's urn."
Oh, God.
What, to face away?
Yeah, the idea that his face, that he looked outward from the front of his urn.
Yeah, what kind of man was he when alive?
Something. I suppose many of us will end up with our urns being turned by our unfaithful surviving
not me.
spouses.
Cryogenically frozen.
Really? Is that what you're
like
going
Cal.
for?
Oh, that's not what I go for on a regular basis.
No,
it's one of my hobbies.
Is that your choice of post-death behaviour?
It's got me written all over it, let's be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being mounted on an enormous plaque. Just, I think, from the waist up, but reaching out.
Right.
Your ex-girlfriends might hit it with a shoe. Frank,
yes?
I'm very into eavesdropping. I'll call it what it is, what Alan's been doing.
Yeah.
He's saying, isn't it interesting? It is eavesdropping, basically. I did it on the train on the way up to Edinburgh this time round.
Oh, yeah.
I heard a man saying, he was on the phone. Hate it when they're on the phone. He said, Jeff, we speaketh at last.
Oh, no.
I like the sound of him. Did he have a suit on?
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
And then I heard him a few beats later.
No, he had a dog-lit hose on. Oh, strange.
And then
Train was very late, indeed.
He said, oh, well, Jeff, such is the life. I thought, you and I aren't going to get on.
No.
I like the sound of it.
Do you?
My favourite one ever was I was in a bookshop, and there was a woman in with a very old lady, I presume was a gran, and the old lady said, "Oh, look at all these books. It's a bit like a library."
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
We haven't. You can text us on 81215 if you'd like to. And I need a bit of listener advice. I branched out this week. It's my girlfriend's birthday, Kath, on Tuesday. On Tuesday. And,
that was a mistake I made.
We can, yes, because I told you. Anyway, so I decided this year I was going to make a card.
Oh, that's nice, Frank.
Well, is it?
No, not really.
I ummed and ahed about it, because does it look like...
When you say decided, do you mean forgot? Because that's the problem.
I was working on it. I'll tell you how long... I saw an image on the internet.
Oh, God.
Yes.
And relax. I saw an image on the internet of a vampire, a female vampire.
This sounds nice.
Yeah, and no, it's a cartoon.
Okay.
A female vampire, sort of comic art.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of black bra pants, stocking suspenders, but the face that no
God.
one's on. It's a vampire. The face.
I don't care what it is.
No, but it's a cartoon. It's not at all.
I don't care if it's a Doberman Pinscher in underwear. I don't like it.
I think that if I'd have more explaining to do if it had been a Doberman Pinscher in underwear on the internet. Anyway,
Recent history. What?
this. So anyway, the vampire really looked like my girlfriend. I mean,
Frank?
no, her eyes and everything really. So I thought I'll keep that picture, I'll save it, and that would make a nice homemade birthday card. Do you see? Yeah. So I thought that would be lovely, and I handed it over, and she said, "Oh, you've made a card, you know." And I wasn't quite sure whether she'd because the glue hadn't quite worked. There was some flappage on the front of the
God.
But anyway, she said, "Oh God, that does." I said, "Looks like you." She said, "It does look like me. You're right." And her sister said, "Yeah, it does." And she said, "How did you find that?" Because obviously you can't Google person that looks like my girlfriend. Then I slowly became apparent that I must have Googled scantily clad female vampire. And we didn't discuss it, but I mean, how else could I have found
Just
that?
stumbled.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all put that in on Google.
It worries me though with the old. I mean, I think that's actually really nice in that instance. Got to say that. But on the whole, just as far as I'm concerned, anyone out there, when it comes to my birthday, buy them. On the whole,
Okay.
I like a Times Roman font. I don't want
Do you?
glitter and happy birthday. I don't really want that.
Oh, okay.
And when people's kids give you cards and you go,
Oh, yeah.
it's so lovely. Oh, they must have taken it. I can't read it. What is it? It's just orange crayons.
See, I feel very sort of ambivalent about the card giving process anyway. Even a bought card, I just think, oh, well, essentially all we've done is, you know, written something and then it's going in the bin in a few days.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it doesn't really matter to me the level of trouble. You've either made it or you've bought it. Either way, it's a tiny moment, isn't it? I prefer an audio card, and I know so does my brother, who had a birthday this week.
An
Happy
audio
birthday!
card? What, one of those that you open and it's Cliff Richard singing?
I'm just doing it
congratulations?
now. Happy birthday
Oh, that's
to my
right.
brother. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
from you?
Yeah, I forgot to send something, but I'm going to get him some vinyl. He's up for some vinyl. He wants some vinyl. There we go.
So you didn't
It's on
send him
its
a card at all? You just said
I
happy
sent
birthday?
I sent him nothing. I've texted him saying
Okay,
there's
well,
some stuff on the way.
Well, we went. It worked out so perfectly on Kat's birthday because Kat, the great passion of Kat's life is Ulrich Schnaus,
Yeah.
the German electronica musician.
You're Luco-like, according to some.
Well, I can't agree with that. It's sort of shoegaze music. I think we've discussed this
Yeah.
before.
You have a cushion stare off, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We have an Ulrich Schnaus cushion at home, and one of me. But anyway. We went to a gig. He happened to be doing a gig on Kat's birthday in Edinburgh. It couldn't have been more perfect. So we went along, and a woman came up to me before the gig and said, a big blonde woman, and she said, "Oh God, we've been pointing at you. My friends thought you were that bloke off the Right Stuff." I thought, well, this isn't going at all well. I presume she meant Matthew Wright.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't see. There's a anyway. I'd been ill.
Yeah.
Anyway, she then she talked to me for a bit, and I thought I'll give her the third sentence, and then that'll be enough. And then when the gig started, it's kind of he gets on stage. It's just him and a laptop. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So it's kind of and it's mainly middle-aged men slightly nodding their heads. Yeah, that's it. She was dancing hands above the head and sort of looking across at me in a kind of a catch my eye kind of way, and I thought, I'm just going to keep nodding. And then she came over and she said, "Is that your girlfriend there?" And I thought, please don't talk to her during an Ulrich Schnaus gig. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. And she went and started. It reminded me when my mum used to say about the dog, don't touch his dish. Don't touch his dish. So if you touch this dish, you'll have your hand off. And this woman went over, and Kath was just, she had touched Kath's dish. It was as simple as that. And it all went a bit wrong. And the woman, in an effort to make it better, kissed Kath on top of the head.
Right.
Yeah.
How tall was the woman standing at? She sounds like Nanny from Count Duckula or something. An enormous woman.
I knew I'd seen her somewhere before. I thought she was removing lice. It looked like that. She sort of went down. Oh no! But that was awkward. Generally,
That was a bit hairy.
I'd like to, but if there's anyone out there, if you text us on 8 12 15, if you've had anything, whether a homemade card or a gift is a good idea, bad idea, and I'm not sure now whether I'm going to do it next time. That's my big thing. What I'm doing is I'm crowbarring a phone into this. If anyone at home thinks, "Oh, where did that come from?" I don't feel I'm hearing from enough listeners, and it's starting to make me feel anxious.
Please text in.
That's what. Why didn't I just say that?
Yeah.
Please.
So please give generously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. RSPCA.
This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Tell you what, the plaintive begging for people to get in touch has had an impact, hasn't it? Oh, goodness.
Maybe I'm going to try that on the friendship front.
I don't know why more radio programmes don't just beseech their listeners to get in touch.
Exactly.
On 8 12 15.
8,
Get in
12,
touch
15.
on 8 12 15.
Yeah.
I like 522, Alan. Morning team, I made my mate a birthday card from macaroni, lentils and some old glitter makeup. That's from
That
Nikki.
takes me back to,
Very Blue Peter,
to
isn't it?
craft lessons at school when we used to use pasta. I didn't really know what pasta was then.
No.
But macaroni, yeah, you could make...
I forget there was a time people didn't know about pasta in the United Kingdom.
It's true.
It's so widely available now.
I had no idea. I'm old enough now to remember like the arrival of the pizza.
Oh,
first
wow.
ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, great
And when
days.
the first time I saw a kiwi fruit,
Oh,
I thought it was elephant dropping. I thought that's been left in the crate accidentally. You know, I think you used to get in those days. This is terrible. I should be on the wrong different station at Radio 2. This is, but you'd often get like the big spider in the fruit.
in the bananas.
If you got the fruit stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
Frank, Debbie on...
Kept the population down. Carry on.
Debbie says, morning all, the fact you remembered her birthday is great and a handmade card is brilliant. Even a vampire in a gimp suit would be better than no card at all.
Interesting.
Funnily enough, that's actually my family motto. Well, thanks for that support.
I thought you were going to say that was what the basket was full of. There's loads of spare gimp suit pictures, but they've gone. Like, now... Somebody, when you said text in, please, someone has just texted in, hello, Frank, Jeff. Excellent.
All right, Jeff.
Good work, Jeff.
That's Jeff Lloyd took pity on us. During that musical interlude, Frank, you and Alan had a little bit of a heated debate about keep away from the dish, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
This is to do with the dog.
I have to say, Alan is a bit of he is the dog whisperer.
I am not. I know nothing about them. I'm learning as I go along.
You felt happy to correct me.
I didn't bring it up as correction. We were having a conversation about stay away from the dish, and I pointed out, and very happy for listeners to validate this on
in case you just
8, 12, 15.
tuned in, I was saying that the thing in my house is that if anyone went near Shep's dish, Shep was the dog. My mum would go, don't touch his dish, because if you touch his dish, he'd do one of those very deep growls.
Oh yeah.
From his it was abdominal, and
A sort of Ronan Keating from his boots.
Oh right, yeah. There you go.
And then you think, I don't. This is. There was a high growl that was basically it was the last stage before a bark.
Right.
So he'd go. But the
Train
deep
pulling into the
deep one, there was no bark involved. The deep one went from deep growl to bite.
That's
Yeah.
definitely.
He eliminated the middleman.
And what kind of dog was this?
It was a Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
That was the Staffy.
The Whippet was the.
This was when Staffordshire Bull Terriers were owned by people that didn't look like they'd killed their family and buried them in the garden.
Nice days, weren't they?
Yeah.
You say that, but I have seen some of your family photos.
Yes, well, anyway.
They were the days before pasta, weren't they?
So what should Frank's family have done?
The advice nowadays, I must say, is that you have to be the boss of the dog, and so their food is what you have let them have. So you pretend to eat some food out of their bowl, you keep the food away from them, and then you put the bowl down, and then you say, okay, go have it. And that lets the dog know you're in charge of its food, and it stops it scavenging and all that sort of thing.
You have to pretend to eat the dog's food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we get the...
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Really?
Well, I can see... Is it the pack animal thing, then? So they will respect you more.
It's all about being pack leader. They like to know their place, don't they, the dogs? They like to... apparently, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They don't really want to be pack leader. Certainly not some dogs. But they just have that thing where they have to try to be. It's their thing. I don't.
So we should have touched his dish.
Oh, definitely touch his dish. Well, I suppose once you hadn't, then you can't go back.
We'd have to. You know those things when you see police dogs being trained, and you have to have the padded forearm. We'd have had to have got one of those jackets.
You definitely need one of those.
Yeah. Anyway. Don't touch his dish. That's what I said at the Murdoch hearing.
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Right, we've had some texts in on 81215.
Good.
About you were talking about homemade cards / gifts. This is from 341. An ex-girlfriend once made me a Christmas stocking from red felt. Inside was a tin of meatballs and a tin of 12p beer from Tesco. We broke up soon after.
No, but I mean, okay, that was. I think that was just ballast. Those two. That was to give the stocking its full length.
Yeah.
I think that could have easily been 2 stones.
Although it is.
But a red felt stocking. That's
Yeah.
good. Someone that it's not. I don't know if you've ever tried stitching felt. It's very awkward to align the seams.
No, because I'm not medieval.
Okay. Oh well, I've made myself quite a lot of jester suits over the years for some of my. I've done a lot of work, private dues, corporates at the Royal Family, but they insist on the tights and the belled hat. And felt is a nightmare to work with.
Is it? Who'd have known? I like the idea that she gave him a tin of meatballs and a tin of beer. That is basically saying enjoy a night in without me, isn't it?
Exactly.
Have a bloke's night in.
And if one of your legs gets a bit cold, go felt.
We've had some other texts in, Frank. We've had Alan was talking about overhearing. We were all talking about that eavesdropping.
Yeah.
295 says one should not listen to private conversations, and therefore we need to make sure that we're careful in it.
I'm not sure about that. I think one should enjoy snippets and wonder what the rest of the conversation was. Just before coming up to Edinburgh, I walked into a restaurant to hear... Oh, I say restaurant.
I should say that bloke did text from GCHQ. So he's got an agenda.
Yeah, he used to work for News International.
Exactly. Yeah.
I walked into
from prison.
I walked into a cafe to hear somebody finishing a story to like 6 people, and he went, yeah, and it turned out they were Buddhists. And that, you kind of go, I wish I could have heard the rest of this story. What were they doing that it turned out they were Buddhists?
But it's a handy catch-all ending for any anecdote. You could throw that in.
I've since stuck it on the end myself.
Yeah, if one of those anecdotes that doesn't go that well, you could always come up with that.
Oh, my Edinburgh show's full of that.
You could have ended the show with that.
I must say, and it turned out they were Buddhists 5 times in the hour.
I heard someone in a cafe the other day go, they said, do you want a hot chocolate? And he went, oh, don't mind if I do. And I thought, I love the variety of sound that precedes don't mind if I do. So sometimes I'll go for a don't mind if I do. Or a don't mind if I do. And you can all put all sorts of little...
You can.
It's one of the great responses to any offer, that don't mind if I do. I'll
bear it in mind.
Yeah, well, it depends what you're offered. It wouldn't really work. It'd be a rubbish response as if he was Class A drugs. Whoa! Don't mind if I do. I think that you'd uncool the whole situation, and quite rightly.
This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Right, we've had some texts in on 81215.
Good.
You were talking specifically about a homemade card you'd made for Kathy, your girlfriend. And Eddie from Swindon said, I made some homemade perfume from rose petals. She said it smelt naff, and then we broke up.
Well, Eddie, you brought that on yourself by giving a gift that a 5-year-old would make.
Oh, come on. Eddie has been out and gathered. He's harvested.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't even know that, do we? From rose petals.
What do you think? He had some roses in the house. And
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
Perhaps some of them had fallen into their own water, and he thought, I could just bottle that.
I like Eddie as well, because you don't get many Eddies these days. They're normally Eds, aren't they?
I think you're doing Swindon.
Oh, do you? Okay. Oh, okay.
Ian. All right, Ed. Yeah, not bad. That's what Eddie will be like. Yeah, I made it myself. It's like, rose. I did it with the roses. That's what I'll be like.
Not a Swindon accent.
Oh, I think so. Near enough.
Frank, we've also got a dilemma.
I don't like it. Smells bad, doesn't it? No, it's all right. Smell it. Try it. It's all right. Got real roses. Yeah,
I don't like your gravedigger character.
No, okay.
One of my grandfathers was a gravedigger. We've had a text in.
Any booty?
On 8/12/15.
No, it's a lonely life. Sorry, we've had a text. That's great news.
Dear. This is from 840. He's quite wisely remained anonymous. Frank, Emily and the Cockerel. I had a voicemail from my girlfriend last night. She'd rung me from her pocket by accident. What I heard was a man desperately trying to flirt with her. It then cut off. Should I bring this up with her or simply let it lie? So obviously she was out in a bar somewhere. She rung her by accident.
Yeah.
And heard these noises.
Well, I mean, first of all, congratulations, because I've been phoned accidentally by hundreds of people, and all I ever hear is no, I've never heard anything of any input. You always think, and I'll listen for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Just in
You
case.
never hear anything, so at least he's
I
hit
rub my
paper.
hands with glee, Frank, when I see a 22-minute message.
Yeah,
Because I know a celebrity friend has called me by mistake. And I love that.
yeah.
Really?
Well, I rub my hands with antiseptic
Swarfiga.
yeah, because you've got to be careful with the phones. Yeah, I keep a £56 tub of Swarfiga. I thrust to the forearm
Yeah.
before I handle my phone. Oh, it's a slippy. It's a slippy, baby. I'll tell you
Put
that.
both hands in, up to the elbow and the phone. It's all getting
Right.
So,
swaffed.
never mind you two and your swarf. What do you think, Frank, of this dilemma?
What other dilemma? Well,
What do you advise? I mean, should he raise it?
well, first of all, let's make it clear that there was no evidence of her responding. I mean, attractive women get...
I love how Tory MP you've gone. Let me be absolutely clear.
Yeah, let me just say two things. First of all, attractive women get chatted up all the time, and that's no sin on their part. My guess is that she rebuffed him.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm hoping that. Let's hoping the phone wasn't switched off by her behind hitting the leather seat of his Lamborghini. Let's hope that. But I think you've got to give if you trust someone, you trust someone. Being chatted up. I mean, could you hear her saying, "Ooh, don't mind if I do"?
Yeah.
Whoa! Don't mind if I do. Could you hear her saying that? No, he couldn't. So I mean, I wouldn't mention it personally, because I think you've already started on the. There's a distrust thing then in the air.
Although, given that he can hear details of a muffled voice call, he should just be within about a mile of her, and he can hear the rest of the story unfold.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd keep an eye out for other signs over the next couple of weeks. But at the moment, I'd give her the benefit of the DNA. I'd be happy to do DNA.
Yeah. Blood tests,
yeah.
follow.
Well,
Check
it's
her
hard though.
bills,
DNA
read
you can
emails.
do. You can pick up off stuff, but a blood test. How are you gonna just squeeze that into the conversation?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, unless you can get her on Jeremy Kyle.
This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Now, Frank, what do you make of, the big story of the week was the, I'm calling it the Winslow fire. It wasn't actually
No, it was
her
actually
fire,
it was the Richard Branson fire.
but she did make it her own, really.
In case you don't know this story, and I must say, not many news stories filter in when you're in Edinburgh Festival, because you lose track of the real world. But this was such a great story. It was a massive house fire in which no one was hurt.
No one
God, what's
perished.
happened to me? I'm so excited about this story. I can't speak. It was Richard Branson's house, so it doesn't really matter whether it was insured or not.
Yeah, yes,
And
that's true.
best of all, Kate Winslet was a real life hero. And I think the key feature of this story, I can't remember reading anything in the paper which I believed less than and I love Kate Winslet. I think she's a fabulous actress and etc. and a national hero in many ways, but I do not believe that she picked up Richard Branson's 88-year-old mother, whatever old she was.
90.
90.
Brutus the
Any
Tortoise.
advance on 90? No? 91?
90.
And she carried her down some treacherous steps, according to...
I don't believe that either.
That's what... it can't... It's just such a great... He's made it up.
Yeah.
She must have had a robust footwear on there. She was going down some
let's not
treacherous
forget
steps.
that Kate Winslet takes a 9.5 shoe.
How do we know this?
That's true.
Frank knows that.
She could have stamped it out. There was we don't need the fire brigade. Kate could have, if Kate had just rested her toes on the first floor windowsills, they could have slid down like on a aeroplane.
And it's
inflatable ramp
It's
thing.
a lovely island. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some flippers knocking about. Her in flippers, 5 minutes, she could have had that whole thing out.
What? She could, but why she walked back when she went down to the pool house to put the flippers on? Went her own. She'd have her own custom-made flippers. I don't know if they're doing it at 9.5. She'd walk back. That would have got the whole. The walk back would have got the whole fire flaring up. You know,
Would have gone up like
it would
tinder.
have been like a bellows.
I did feel for her though, Frank, because she was. I mean, she didn't look. Well, she didn't look her best. I'm going to put that out there.
Oh.
I think she's a good-looking woman.
Yeah, I find I don't know. I find
you just
firefighting generally can mess up your makeup.
I didn't think she looked that bad, but she was in a picture next to a 90-year-old woman, the picture that I saw.
Well, that's true.
She
With
looked
the
less happy
burnt
about it.
house in the background,
Yeah,
they actually
yeah.
did a post-heroics photo.
I felt sorry for the mother, the Branson's mother. If you're 90, she might not have wanted to be saved. I'm now going to put it on record. Any age past 60, please feel free to leave me in a fire. If I'm in a building, I'm not that bothered.
I'm going to keep you to that.
Honestly, I was tempted to say 45, but I think that's too miserable. But,
I don't like the idea of Kate Winslet rubbing her chin, looking at Richard Branson's mum, thinking, "Well, she's had a good evening."
Yeah.
No,
Maybe it was a
no. I
natural
think she took.
instinct.
I think her instinct is to save Kate Winslet.
that's
I think
good.
she saw this old woman and thought, "Well, she's like kindling." She's,
Just
they don't
an
get
old
much drier than that. She'll go.
I said, look
There's
at
no sap in her.
Frank. When I looked at it on the paper, I said, look at Brutus the Tortoise, and you said, don't speak about Richard Branson's mother like that.
Well, I don't want to be disrespectful to. For goodness sake, there's rumours that Richard Branson's going to buy Absolute. So can I say, apparently, Christian O'Connell grabbed his mum from the arms of Kate Winslet and said, no, I'll do it. But no, it's there is talk that Richard Branson is going to take up. Perhaps we shouldn't talk. Or we shouldn't talk about this. Sorry,
I don't
The
think
producer's
we should.
got a
I
head
heard
in
it
her
was
hands right now.
sorry. I heard it was going to be called Absolute Radio, spelt LOOT at the end if he takes over. Anyway, so can I say that if I'd have been there, Richard, I'd have been straight in.
Yeah.
But there was a picture of Kate Winslet in a very loose sort of black.
It was very loose, a black caftan.
Well, was it a caftan? It looked like a big long
Yeah.
T-shirt. I thought she was currently filming the Joe Brand story.
Frank!
What? That's,
She might have just been like you in your MC Hammer pants around the house. They've caught her in her house clothes.
that's house fire clothes. Yeah. No, but it kept, every story as well said, Kate, who star of Titanic, which is they don't
Yes.
normally put that. They've just
No.
thought, she knows a tragedy.
They want to link the natural disasters.
Yeah, there's a suggestion that she can work at both ends of the
Fire and
heat
water,
spectrum. Ice, water, bring it on.
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Yes,
That's all gone a bit Buddhist.
It turned out they were Buddhists.
that's how we're going to close the show. Just like. That was Kings of Leon. Use somebody, don't.
We've had quite a few texts in. Somebody talking about the homemade gifts. I make a lot of gifts myself using felt. I like to make my presents felt. See what he's done there.
That's
Presents
clever,
felt.
actually. That is clever, though, because we did talk about homemade presents and the woman who made the felt stocking. So
Indeed.
Yeah.
what he's done, he's taken various threads of the show and built them into something beautiful.
Oh, he's
I'm saying a he, is it a he?
stitched
Yes,
them,
it's
yeah,
Paul from Cuffley.
Good old Paul.
Frank, we've also had a review of that fall track that you played. Julian and Lorraine in Woodford Green, just as Marky Mark started singing, a dog in the street started howling.
That's a pure coincidence.
Yeah, someone's touched his dish. That's the.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
That made me feel sick. You say. We've had another curious text in, haven't we, Alan?
Haven't we?
679, eavesdropping was illegal until 1967. I just thought you might like to know.
Is that right? It was an offence.
I don't like being illegal on trains.
How would people police that, though?
Exactly. And what happened in 67 was the Summer of Love.
Well,
Maybe they
I have to
realised
say,
it's
guys, you see,
impossible to police.
is this weird? When I sit opposite people sometimes, and I did this on the way up to Edinburgh on this occasion, the man was talking on the phone and I was quite interested, not in that way, but as soon as he said his name out loud, can I say his name? I don't know if I'm allowed to.
No, don't say his name.
Okay. But,
Let's say he was called Jeff Sharkey.
yeah, so Jeff Sharkey, so he went, hello, Jeff Sharkey, when he picked up the phone. And then I thought, oh, Google him. I'm interested. He was talking about recruitment. So I Google. Is that weird that I did that?
Well,
I'm really interested in people. I wanted to know more about him.
no,
So I
as long as
Googled-
you weren't travelling on the 1967 from King's, or 66, I suppose. Well, what an idea, that stranger opposite you could be Googling you.
Yeah.
Well, I was once on the same train as a guy who does the sort of fashion makeovers on stuff like This Morning.
Gok.
No, not Goff.
No.
Can't remember his name.
Andrew something. I know who you mean.
Something or other.
Yeah.
And he was taking a business phone call and said, yes, I'm available. And then he said, I'm on a busy train, but I'll do it for my usual rates, darling.
Okay.
And I thought...
Are you sure that wasn't me?
Is that your thing?
And did you Google his usual rate?
I did not.
It's not easy,
I would have.
is it? I doubt if that's on the...
I defo would have.
Yeah, well, that's...
So I actually leave Edinburgh today.
oh.
I know, I'm really sad, actually.
I'm heading. Yeah, I'm ready. I think we've been.
You're heading south. Is that...
Yeah, I am heading. I tell you, so I've had a brilliant this morning when I got up and did my ablutions. I had some brilliant stuff. This is how I try to run my life. Right, I finished my toothpaste and I finished a tube of moisturiser this morning, and I thought to myself as I squeezed at the last bit, well, at least I won't have to lug them back home. And the satisfaction of not having to take those back, I've finished them off. Oh
It's
God!
like a full stop on your festival, that, isn't it?
I love trying. I deliberately bring when I'll pick up a tube of toothpaste and think, about 2 weeks, because I left a fuller moisturiser back at the flat. 'Cause I thought I don't want to be.
He does use a moisturiser. I love it.
Oh God, I use a moisturiser. You try and get a grip of me. Do you want to play this? Just try and get a grip. It's like trying to hold a big trout. So I've been told. I mean, that might not be necessarily. And I was in the shower this morning. I don't know if I should own up to this, but I was in the shower, and Emily, I knew, was having a shower in her bathroom. Bit. And I want to make it clear, separate showers. But I'm in the shower, and suddenly my water goes cold. Obviously, Emily has cranked up.
I'd like to say that wasn't me, because I did mine later. It was our producer.
Was it? Oh, it was Emma.
Because I listened for your sound effects, and I wouldn't have done that, Frank.
Well, I've never been so insulted. But I have to say, I was so. I love you both very much, but when it happened, it really went cold, and I did a quick rinse, and then I turned my thing off very quickly, thinking, now burn.
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
I have to say, one thing I will miss about Edinburgh is sharing a flat with, it was Emily and Lisa, and now Emily and Emma. And it's very communal. I mean, the Cockerell's made his own arrangements.
Yeah, we don't question that. Do you know what I've loved most? I've loved the early morning ukulele sessions. Mm-hmm. That's my alarm call from Frank, George Formby.
Oh, nice.
I like the chewing of the fat at the kitchen table.
Oh, that is.
And the pre-bed Simon Callow impressions.
Yeah, well, those have been endless. When Emma arrived the other day, she arrived on Thursday, was it? I forgot that my because last week my lounging clothes was my Istanbul pantaloons. But a friend of mine who works at West Bromwich Albion sent me their new away kit. So that arrived. So that's been my lounging kit. And so Emma couldn't get in the door, so I went to open the door, and I realised, that there was a middle-aged man in full football. I mean, I'm talking about socks, shorts, and shirts, and she was very all right.
Hello, 6-year-old.
It was like a terrible. It was like
I just laughed outright.
Yeah.
It was like I'd been kidnapped about 50 years ago, and then I had that was the only clothes I ever had, and I just got out the cupboard, still in the same
But
kit.
you know what, Frank? Living together, I've been faced with a new challenge because I live Han Solo ordinarily.
Yes,
and
well, we all do.
but what I found, and I'm not used to this concept, Frank, when you come in late, which I do. I sometimes it'll be a 4 a.m-er.
Oh yeah, that's that's Edinburgh.
And it just...
Ooh, is that what I do? Carry on.
Bit Tanqueray up, and you have to creep. You have to creep around. So I've got a whole system. I take the shoe off on level 1 of the stairs, so I don't wake you guys up.
That's a good thing.
Don't turn the lights on. My issue is always with the loo. If you're doing ladies' things. Not horrid men's things. Then do you flush the toilet? Because the old Scottish system, it will be noisy.
Oh, right.
Yes. Well, it's. I think there's a bagpipe incorporated into the system.
That's how they're invented.
There is, certainly. At Kath's, because Kathy's staying in a separate flat with her sister, and her shower sort of goes... It's got an element of bagpipe.
So you crept in last night,
And we've
Frank.
got the sniggering fridge. We've got a fridge that goes... like mischievous school children in the corner.
Your manager set that up for you.
Yeah, I like to be surrounded by some level of laughter.
Yeah.
It's all time. I've got a lovely picture over my bed. I don't think I've shown you that. The roseate spoonbill.
Oh.
Beautiful bird. Yeah, got a head like a castanet. Oh, it's packed with. I think I've got. I think a Louisiana hawk on the opposite wall. Yeah. Obviously, he's on the hunt for a rodent. You can see it in his eye.
Frank on radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Oh, me and the cockerel were just having quite a dispute about whether Ulrich Schnaus is better than Gomez, because we were at conflicting gigs the other night.
We had a
That's
time
the
clash.
crazy finger on the pulse.
Yeah, felt very 2011. So, Frank, we were talking about creeping in earlier to the flat,
Yes.
which I have to say you did last night.
I did. I was sort of partying.
Yes, I know where you were, Frank.
I was at an author's dinner.
Yes, I know you were, Frank. In fact, I have what I'd like to call a GTA,
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
a grievance to air.
Oh, no.
goodness.
Is it that time already?
Yes.
Grievance to air
Frank
on
has... I'm not going to pussy... I know you appreciate straight talking, Frank, and I'm no pussyfooter. So I'm going to get cut straight to it. You've stolen a friend off me.
That is not correct.
You have.
Well, I don't think I've stolen.
It's like timeshare, isn't it?
Can I... Yeah, I've got a friend.
Yes.
He's an author. He's called Neil Gaiman.
We're going to actually name him.
Yes, I've
now.
named him now.
Okay.
He'll be happy with it. And I introduced them. I thought it was quite a munificent thing to do. I was quite proud of myself.
Good word.
And they got on famously.
Yes. Well, that's
The
because...
two famous people.
In their own right. Yeah.
And the muggle has been cast aside.
Oh, no, that's not
No,
fair.
it's not. But you have stolen the friend.
I
You
have
two
not.
got-
stolen. I think there was 3 of us at a lunch, and a lot of his job is editing, and he thought, there's one too many. Who's going to go? And he went. No, but it was. Yes, it was a bit. The thing is, I am a big fan of I didn't think we were going to name him, but
That's
I'm a
okay.
big fan of Neil Gaiman, and have read his stuff, and think he wrote one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever and stuff like that. So I sort of interviewed him a bit. I wasn't at all casual about it. I started, that bit in chapter 9 where it was a bit like that. It's a bit at a convention for him, but he forgave me for it. But yeah, I went to. We got the Mexican takeaway in. It was.
Did
fun.
you?
Oh, yeah. I love Mexican food, not in Mexico. That's one of my things.
Right.
Have you ever had Mexican food in Mexico?
I haven't.
Horrible.
No, I've never been to Mexico.
Horrible. I said to a waiter, I said, "This is a bit third world," and he looked affronted. But
the general feeling was that Mexican food wasn't great in the UK. I love food. I'm already keen to hear more.
It's much better than it is in what we basically were eating Tex-Mex. Anyway, this is a different thing. So I went along and there was all sorts of famous writers there.
Oh, Frank!
It was very exciting. Ian M. Banks.
Right, so he was in his.
I don't want to name drop.
Science fiction.
He was when I spoke to him.
Was he?
He had to be. And let me put it this way, well-known Scottish detective author. I was Uptown top ranking, if you know what I'm saying.
Wow.
Big fan.
Yeah,
Big
are
fan.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the Rebus.
Oh God! So it was brilliant. But I was thinking because Emily did casually use the phrase "friend stealing," and I don't know if I kind of like introducing my friends to other friends because I always think that's probably got me off the hook because you've only got so much time for your friends. It's probably gave me 3 or 4 extra evenings a year.
You've just got to obey the FOF contract, the friend-of-friend contract, which states that in the early days, really, the original friend, the OF, has always got to be present.
Yeah, you can't swoop in and
that's
make a
what I did.
separate
I'm
arrangement,
afraid I did slightly break that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, well, I mean, Emily wasn't at the.
I did get an invite, though.
Right.
Late in the day, Neil, but I did get it.
I think you pressured.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Pressured that, yeah. And we swapped numbers in front of Emily, which was slightly rubbing her nose, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm very excited about it.
I'm genuinely excited.
Didn't
as
I
well.
steal you, Em?
You did.
I sort of stole you from Jonathan Ross and Jane. So
But you can choose your friends, can't you? You can't just do this with someone's brother and suddenly have them as a brother, can you?
No.
You can't steal your family, but you can.
No,
You can
I did it with someone's wife once. I don't know, and funny enough, they made a bit of a hoo-ha about it as well.
People
I
can
mean, it
take
wasn't like
umbrage
it
at
was
the smallest
permanent.
things.
It was only a weekend. It was more rental than theft. Anyway, this won't put Rob Bonnet on the Radio 5 Sports Special. So that's my radio version of this. This won't put the bonnet on the baby. I was quite happy with it. We got Mark Crossley coming up next. Not the Notts Forest goalie. Don't think that for a second. Our very own Mark Crossley, I like to call him. You can download the Not the Weekend podcast on Wednesday. We leave Edinburgh today, so we'll be back in Golden Square next week. So I'll be, I'll be glad to get back. I love Golden Square. I think that's about all from us. It's been very lovely, as it always is. And end of line.
We only have this extra. This is Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.